Hello, Milena. Hello, Alina.
Hi, Jay, and thank you for this beautiful opportunity to observe your coaching conversation. Would you like to take a moment just to take a breath, or you're ready to go?
I'm ready.
Great. I mean, we could have observed a couple of meaningful shifts, I would say, and I took note of two. And I'm curious what happened for you in those moments. We just brought up the latest one. One was when the coach brought the mastermind. Which mastermind is present now? And there was this, oops. I wonder what was happening there for you.
This question suddenly just brought me an insight. Like I always thought it's the past me that's been masterminding. But that question just placed on table is like, no, it's me, myself. So there's like, oops. It's just like a micro millisecond that, no, I think I have wrong information about who's the mastermind, and that's a very impactful moment for me.
What are you most appreciating about this experience in the moment?
I appreciate the coach being bold, and I feel his presence, but yet at the same time, he let me have my own space. And even as I guess that to shed some tears in front of 100 odd people is it takes courage. I'm like, and I am glad because I think the presence and the way that how the coach has observed and share his observation with me, it's made me quite suddenly like, wow, okay, so it hits me hard, but not pain, but just enough to, hey, wake up, time for you to look somewhere. Have you noticed this before? Have you noticed that before? And that's powerful. It's really my shifting transformation. Yeah.
Please go ahead.
Milena, may I?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Hey, Jay.
Hey, Helena.
It was really wonderful listening to you, listening both sides as your mind opened up and we could hear your mind. Uh, One of the things that we as student coaches, and all of us are student coaches, is we noticed that as a client, you have a very metaphorical way of processing things. Metaphor, analogies, whether it is which the coach started with baby and then party, toilet, the show must go on, the book, so many just kept flowing and flowing. Uh, it was interesting that sometimes it would be the coach who would bring it and you would kind of, work with it. And sometimes it would be the other way around. So there was a beautiful dance that was going on, which we saw. Now, as a student of coaching, I would be very keen for you to share with all of us what happens to the client's mind when the coach dances in the moment with the metaphor and analogy of the client. That will help us to manage coaching.
So to begin with, I am a big fan of metaphor. So I'm quite creative, and sometimes I would like come up with certain metaphors when I work with clients. And I guess that when Bam brought up the party, the toilet, I'm like, party, toilet, okay. So I'm a visual person in my mind. I can actually visualize that. And, like, oh, okay. So the focus is actually on the metaphor. And having that metaphor to help me to see things in that perspective. And it takes away the stress of let's look at your problem. Right? I
Mm.
don't like looking at a problem. I want to get rid of problem, but I don't want to talk about the problem. It's painful, it's awkward, it's frustrating. But when the use of the metaphor, I guess that I didn't really count how much there is. From the count of it, it sounds like, oh, that's a lot, but I don't really notice the numbers of it. But it's like, okay, so it's like a dance. I'm like, yeah, pretty comfortable dancing with the coach. I'm like, okay. So it helps me in a more, I guess that there's also humor that makes me like lighten up and really be able to see and look at that like, okay, and how does that analogy applies back to my challenge. So,
Right.
so I think that's really a big gift from the coach, and he's being very generous with a lot of metaphors.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful. So it takes you away from the stress of what's happening into a new world that you've created. It makes you look at it a little more intentionally because it is not what is stuck, but what can happen. It is a new way of looking at it, which is welcome as a client. And when you sort it out there in that analogy, it helps you to find some kind of a sorting out in what you are trying to process or deal with. That's what I hear you say.
Yes.
That's really wonderful. Milena, you have a question?
Yeah, thank you, Karina, for bringing this up. The beauty and the richness of the conversation and the metaphors, the images that have been used. And I'm hearing, Jay, that you could have, you have found a way of, not dealing, but like going through the conversation and making the best use for you. And I wonder, in this richness, what was, the turning point for you that was the most meaningful moment in the conversation?
There are several checkpoints, and now I'm very conscious of where I use the but again. And the turning point is really about the word I use, which is the coach sharing from his observation. That is really that the word I use, the and the but. There are several checkpoints, which is like a few turning point for me, but and I feel is the last that's the but to replace with the M. And that really somehow feels like my brain is being forced to train up the muscle, look somewhere. So that's something I can diligently practice on. And I would encourage coaches in the room to do the same.
Yeah, beautiful message. Thank you. May I challenge you a little bit here?
Yes, please.
Several types of mindset or mind have been mentioned here, like the intellectual Jay and the Jay that lives in the past. I'm curious with what kind of mindset or mind are you living the conversation now?
Jay? No.
Beautiful, beautiful. Is there anything that you would like to say to have a huge publicum today, about the coach, about the conversation? Anything that you would like to share with us?
I would say be very aware of the inquiry when the client made, because this is one story that I tell. I tried in the coaching session several times, and I get different dishes because of different chefs. All chefs are good, all dishes are good, but I feel that this dish is particularly flavorful. The impact of change I feel in myself is drastically shoot up to 100%. So to the client really feels like, so he catches what even I myself don't catch it. And that's like, wow, it'll take me many years to reach band standards. So let's us all be diligent and continue to learn.
Beautiful, Jay. Thank you for sharing this with us. I wonder, Alina, if you have anything you'd like to inquire about, or we should allow Jay to rest.
One
One more.
last, if I may, and Jay may just maybe want to process this, may not give an answer immediately, Jay. You just received some very, very high quality of coaching. You were receiving this coaching. And does this experience give you a deeper and better definition of coaching today, or transformational shift today, because of what you have received while in the moment?
Definitely.
Mm.
I'm glad I'm not so full of content. I didn't tell the grandmother stories so that he has more time to work on me. So,
Mm.
yes, I agree with you, Alina, that this is a very high quality coaching that I received today. And it's my good fortune to be able to receive this. So whoever wants to, I encourage people to really like, please, if Ben look for a client, please volunteer yourself.
Yes, yes. Thank you. Thank you, Jay. Milena, over to you. I'm done. Thank you. I have no more questions for the client.
Thank you, Alina. Jay, thank you for being so open with us. And maybe the last question before we see our friends here again. So,
Sure.
what are you appreciating the most about this experience today? Like, what are you walking away with?
I gain a lot of insights, knowledge about myself, whom I have yet to even discover about the working mechanic within myself. And the coach was able to identify the several layers, which is, oh, wow. And the questions, I'm really appreciative of the metaphor because my story was like intense. The more I look at it, the more I talk about it, it's like tears I can't stop. By using a metaphor, it helps me to really like, I can look at something closely, intensively. And when I come back to my narrative, it feels like, I can get it feels like the brain is being rewired, something like that. Really,
This
yeah.
is beautiful. Well, congratulations, Jay, for the experience that you have.
Thank you.
Thank you for being so honest and open with us all. And I would like to allow you to rest now. You've been stretched quite a lot today. Thanks a lot. And I think it's good time, Ben, to welcome our.
Let us all come onto camera and give these three ladies a round of applause. Woo! Great, thank you, thank you. Well, thank you for this wonderful case study. And now we're going to go into our deep dive into the learning session. Now, hearing the coaching conversation, hearing an interview are great and awesome, but there's nothing more powerful than to go into the breakout rooms later on to talk about what you can learn and draw out about the case. We're not, our intent is not to talk about what happened in the coaching conversation. What we want to be able to do is look at the case and ask ourselves, what can we learn about the nature of change? What does it teaches us about what it takes to be able to have a powerful shift for the client, so that you can walk away not just learning, okay, what questions I need to ask or what I need to do, right? But you're able to walk away with more understanding on how things comes together to create a phenomenon. Are you with me? Great. So some of you are, I mean, there's among us guests. So I would like to just invite the guests to join us in the breakout rooms. And we will do our best to have you be part of us because this is an open dialogue. So we just want you to be aware of the learning objective and the learning outcome. So in every breakout room, there is a faculty members. So they will be facilitating it. Now, in order to make this a more constructive, meaningful learning sessions, we have prepared a questionnaire. No, no, sorry, not a questionnaire, a guided questions that can be downloaded from the chat box. Now, you don't have to answer all the questions. It would be good if you can just take a look at maybe one or two of the questions and use that as a way to guide your contributions about what you can offer. Got it? So the faculty members will be there to guide you along the way. So most of us are new to one another. This is a global platform. So what you can do is as you go into the breakout rooms, you can just quickly introduce yourself as to where you're coming from, and then you can move on with the discussion. Got it? Great. So there is one room that needs adjustment first. Uh, Partly because some of the people is leaving the room, so I'm not sure why you're leaving when the most juicy part is coming. Okay, just give me a couple of moments right now to reorganize that room so that we can have good numbers of people represented for discussions. Says one moment and it's done right now. Great. So we'll spend about 20 minutes in the breakout room going through these wonderful learning sessions. So see you later. Now,